Using a digital version of Japan's Suica travel card is absolutely the easiest way to navigate trains and buses around Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka and beyond. So this is how to add, top up and use a digital Suica card, what to do if this process fails, the pros and cons to doing so once you're there, and why the brand new Welcome Suica Mobile app may not be as good as it sounds. At the time of this video, this feature does not work on Android phones sold outside of Japan, so it's only iOS for now. To add a digital Suica card to your phone, open the Wallet app, hit the plus icon, tap Travel or Transit depending on your phone's region, then search for Suica. Select the amount you want to add, agree to the terms and conditions, and pay by card using your face. Hopefully, it should all be just as simple as that and you're ready to go. I'll cover how best to use the card next, but just in case your payment isn't accepted at this point, which is a common issue, there are a couple of potential solutions. Japanese online purchases often don't play well with international banks, so it is possible that your card just won't work. So to be sure, the first thing is just to try a different card. Ultimately, I've had debit, credit, Visa and MasterCard all accepted, so just try what you have. If this still doesn't work, the second tip is to make sure that you aren't trying the payment between midnight and 6 AM Japan time. Even though the official site mentions a blackout period for top-ups between 2 and 4 AM, I've had a card fail at 1 AM Japan time, and then I tried it 6 hours later and it worked. So just check that isn't what's preventing you as well. Once your card is accepted, tap the 3 dots in the top right, card details, and then express travel settings. Now this isn't mandatory, but it is good practice to make sure that your Suica is turned on under travel card and any other options that you may be using back home are turned off. One benefit of using Apple's Express travel setting is that your Suica can still be actively used for up to 5 hours after your phone loses charge, which is good to know if you're in a pinch. You're now ready to go, and from here onwards, this is easily the best way to get around Japan's busiest cities. To use the digital Suica on trains, just tap the entry barrier as you'd expect, your balance will then show, and then tap out on the other side to complete the journey and you'll be charged the correct amount. One benefit of this digital card is that if you realise your balance is running low even in the middle of a journey, you can simply add credit to your Suica whilst travelling, so you'll never be short upon exit. To do this, locate your card in the Wallet app, tap Add Money and check out as before. For comparison, with a physical Suica card, you can only top up your credit with cash at station terminals. So not only are you spending time finding these machines, but you'll also then be eating into your cash supply and visiting ATMs more often as well. For riding buses, the most common system you'll encounter is where you board the bus by the middle doors, tapping your Suica as you enter. When it's your stop, you exit via the front doors and tap out next to the driver. This will then charge you for the distance travelled. In addition to trains and buses, you can also use your Suica to purchase drinks at vending machines and even in most shops and casual restaurants. So if ever your foreign card isn't accepted at a particular retailer, your Suica card might be. You also get a nice history of all the journeys that you've made so far. Oh, the memories. As of spring 2025, Suica has just had one of its biggest updates in years, so I wanted to finish with how this change will and won't affect you. That new addition is the Welcome Suica Mobile app, just launched on iOS, which provides an alternative to what we just went through. Ultimately though, I don't think this new app will benefit most people, with one possible exception, so just in case. The Welcome Suica Mobile app is a new digital alternative that largely echoes everything that I just went through. It works exactly the same way as I just showed, in terms of adding credit on the go and then tapping as you pay, just as before. But instead of using the built-in Apple Wallet app, you're now just using a third-party app. So for most people, it's actually an additional step to download another app that probably won't change much in actual use later. But there are two things that this app lets you do that you can't do with a standard digital Suica. The first is that instead of paying for everything on a per journey basis, you also have the option to instead buy a day travel card. But with the most likely day pass costing 1,600 yen, you'd have to be taking 6 to 8 trains a day just to break even, which is possible but unlikely. Even the cheaper, smaller district pass for 780 yen could work, but I reckon for any day that you'd save money, you may have another day where you don't, so... The second and certainly biggest benefit that the Welcome Suica mobile app provides is that you can use it on a Shinkansen. This is a great step in the right direction, but again with some caveats that may render it a non-starter. For context, buying tickets for the Shinkansen is a whole other ticketing system, and normally you can't use any type of Suica card for this type of train barrier. So the Welcome Suica Mobile app allows you to tap in and out at the Shinkansen gates, and then allows you to sit in a non-reserved seat. So for busy trains, this may mean that you need to stand, or you can just find an empty seat that hasn't already been reserved when you board. So far, so good. The limiting factor here though is that it currently only applies to JR East lines, so only when travelling to these stations. So it wouldn't work for Fuji or Kyoto or Osaka, Hiroshima for example, and therefore for the vast majority of travellers this benefit won't even apply. Obviously if you are travelling to these places then this new app is an option, since buying a ticket for the Shinkansen can be a bit tricky, which by the way, quick tip, I personally would always just recommend buying bullet train tickets at a counter from a person, just to make sure that you're buying the correct fare. Also, it is worth noting that any balance that you add via the Welcome Suica mobile app will expire after 180 days. So if you do return to Japan, your credit will have vanished, whereas you have 10 years with the Apple Wallet method that we started with. So in conclusion, all of this means that I'd still just recommend using the Apple Wallet app instead. Hence why I made a video about it. For loads more practical tips and inspiration for visiting Japan, check out this video for answers to the country's most frequently asked questions for travellers, and as ever, thanks for watching, carry on monkey.